back for his third visit. I'd like to welcome Transport Minister Norman Baker, who has just arrived and here to formally open the show. Minister, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for asking me for a third successive year, and thank you very much to the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister. I'm still able to be here and carry out that function, having survived the reshuffle. I'm delighted to be able to come and formally open Euro Bus Expo 2012. There's no doubt in my mind that buses play an absolutely key role in our economy, in our efforts to tackle climate change, in our efforts to make sure we have social mobility in our communities. 63% of all public transport journeys are by local buses, 2.3 billion bus journeys in 2011 and 12, and an even better statistic from passenger focus, not from us, not from industry, 85% of people are happy with their bus service. That's a tremendous figure, which you should be very proud of, and a figure, I dare I say, that us in the political world would give our eye teeth to achieve, if we can get those sorts of figures in terms of public satisfaction for anything we do, as a matter of fact. Now, I've tried as bus minister, and the government's tried to make sure we support the industry, both by making sure that money is available in targeted ways, in our effort to make sure that we do get more people on buses. That's my prime objective, and that's everything we do is geared towards achieving that. So you'll have seen the money spent is roughly £2 billion each year on last year on buses, £1 billion on concessionary travel entitlement, 600 million on the local sustainable transport fund, which of course has benefited many bus investment projects. The money spent through BSOC to bus operators, of course, £200 million to specific improvements up and down the network, in Manchester in particular and Bristol. The new Better Bus Area Fund, I introduced £70 million for that, £20 million for community transport, money to retrofit buses in London. There's so much money we're spending to help the industry. If I went through it all, I'd run out of time in my contribution this morning. But it would be remiss of me not to mention one new aspect today. As you know, we've had 3 rounds of the Green Bus Fund, totalling £45 million. And I'm happy to announce today that as a consequence of prudent management of the department's finances, I'm able to allocate a further £20 million for a new 4th round of the Green Bus Fund, and there's a parliamentary statement I've made this morning to the House of Commons, a written statement to confirm that. And that will help operators to purchase around 300 more new low-carbon buses. This is a great announcement as far as I'm concerned, because it helps the industry, it makes a bus as a vehicle even more attractive, and all the evidence is people want to travel on new buses, and you're more likely to get passengers if the buses are new and clean and cutting edge, state-of-the-art, as new green buses are. And of course it helps our manufacturers, because a great many of the buses which are bought are manufactured in this country by our excellent manufacturers. And on that note, I want to say how pleased I am to learn of the news today of the export orders achieved by Alexander Dennis for Hong Kong, which is a tremendous achievement for this country and will do a lot, I think, to boost even further the confidence in the industry. Now, we hear a lot about the state of the economy. I think the bus industry, whatever the moans at the edges, and of course there are some legitimate concerns, is in pretty good shape. I think it's in pretty good shape in terms of the public reaction to it. It's in pretty good shape in terms of the future plans. It's in pretty good shape from the manufacturer's point of view, and the exports being achieved as well. And I picked up last year when I came here the very positive feel there was at Expo Bus 2011. In my short time here this morning, I think that's been replicated and even increased this year, and I'm told there are even more people queuing up to get in here than there were last year. So I think that the future is bright, and I look forward to continue to work with the industry and indeed its passengers and the local councils and others in the months and, dare I say, hopefully the years ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister. I understand you are able to take a couple of quick questions.
Yeah.
OK. Is there... Mike Morgan, Route 1.
Good morning, Minister.
Hi, Mike.
The news on Green Bus Fund 4 is obviously very good and will clearly be welcomed, because I know that operators wanted to have that news. Could you just spell out a little bit more detail on it? What is there? Is this a smaller percentage than previously, or is it the same?
I think I'm right in saying, I'm looking at officials here, the percentage is the same. Is that right, Anthony? Or is it? We're still working on it. It's the official answer. There you are. But all be revealed in due course. The intention, Mike, as always, is to make sure that the incentives are there to encourage take-up, so that the fund is ideally fully spent and indeed perhaps marginally oversubscribed, so there's some element of choice in terms of the bids come in, whilst not wasting public money. Clearly, we don't want to throw money away that we don't have to throw away. So we want to make sure that the money is all allocated and make it go as far as we can from the public purse. So that's the general intention. The precise percentage we'll come back to you on.
I think just time for just one quick question over this side.
Dave Holliday do various integrated transport things and tend to look a bit out of the box. I'm wondering, in terms of operating costs of the bus industry, we ought to be looking at some other aspects. Maybe it is cheaper to get the passenger to the bus by some innovative schemes, such as combining with taxis, such as cycling to the bus stop, rather than spend a lot of money taking the bus up every cul-de-sac and getting the bus to the passenger. And to perhaps have a word with your colleagues in the Treasury, if we can actually persuade people to give up car ownership by schemes such as the key card that is operating with Go North East, where you have a car on tap with your your bus card, the indications are that we could actually unlock disposable income in every household in the region of £2,000 to £3,000 a year.
Yeah.
If we can actually get people to use the bus instead of a car scrappage scheme. Would that be likely?
I didn't mention that in my speech because if I tried to cover the entire gamut of potential questions, I would be here for a very long time. First of all, I hope that there are no bus operators or councils driving buses up every cul-de-sac. That would be very bad value for money if that were happening. In terms of getting people to use the bus, there are a number of measures we can take. One of them is, I think, making buses more attractive, which is what the Green Bus Fund is about. Beyond that, there is making sure that the value of the bus is appreciated across government and across all local councils. I was very impressed with the Greener Journeys report recently produced, and I've made sure that's been made available by me to my parliamentary colleagues, my ministerial colleagues, the Department for Work and Pensions, the Department for Business, the Treasury and others. And I'm engaging with other departments to make sure that the value of the bus is understood by them in terms of what they want to do in their portfolios. In terms of replacing the car or joining up forms of transport, there is a stream of work which I'm undertaking called door-to-door journeys, and that's been very heavily supported, I'm grateful to say, by the industry and by others. And what we're looking at there is to make sure that people can get from the door they want to leave to the door they want to arrive at by sustainable means, and identifying the weakest link in that journey from A to B, which will involve 3 or 4 different modes, if you like, including walking, is very important, because people's perception of that journey will be the weakest link. The weakest link will determine whether they take that journey by sustainable means or whether they don't. So identifying the weakest link and curing that is key to that. So we're a lot of work going on in that. Part of it is involved in smart car technology and making sure that people have the if you like, the psychological advantage of a ticket from A to B. And I'm pleased to see some of the stands here today, which have got some really innovative and interesting information which can help develop that and give the passenger what he or she wants. But getting the bus and the train lined up, getting the bicycle and the train lined up, getting the bus and the car hire lined up, whatever happens to be, is key. That work is going on in the department, and there will be a door-to-door strategy published either as part of the transport strategy or alongside it in the very near future.
Thank you. Picking up that theme, just one final question to finish on from the Greener Journeys, Mira Rembis.
Thank you. Minister, thank you for being so supportive to making the case for the value of the bus. One simple thing that we would like to see is the Treasury change arrangements for salary sacrifice schemes for buses, which they seem very resistant to. Do you envisage that changing? Can you help us make the case?
Well, as someone who plays cricket every now and then, I have to give you a straight bad answer, which is that's a matter for the Treasury and not for me. What I can say is that the Campaign for Better Transport and others have raised that matter with me, and I've been in touch with Dali Alexander to make him aware of the case for it. What the Treasury does in the end is I'm afraid, above my pay grade, but I understand the point you've made, and I've raised it with them.
Thank you very much, Minister. I'll just pass over to Mark Exley, who's President of the Confederation of Passenger Transport, for some closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I'm very conscious that I don't want to be the one standing between you and this fantastic show, so let me make 3 points. First is on behalf of CPT to warmly welcome you all to Euro Bus Expo 2012. Secondly is to express deep appreciation to the Minister Norman Baker for managing to fit in the formal opening of the exhibition into what is already a packed diary. The more so when, with point 3 in mind, Norman comes bearing such very welcome news on the Green Bus Fund. I know from a quick tour around the manufacturers that everyone was quietly hoping that there would be a really helpful announcement like this, which indeed there has been. And it is just so important to us for keeping the green, environmentally friendly bus story rolling. So many thanks for that, Norman, and on with the show. Thank you.